And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Petty and Ill-Informed Podcast. I am your kind of inebriated host. Joining me, as always, is Niki
Hey.
and Kevo.
Hello, everyone.
Now, obviously, we've got some Bigfoot stuff going on. We're going to discuss that in just a minute. But first of all, Niki, you committed a sin today, and I'm going to call you out.
What did I do?
You put a Facebook post where you said you wanted burgers to disappear forever.
What?
Yeah, I said, out of all of those foods, yes, burgers could disappear forever.
I know what foods.
Hold on.
Yeah, you gotta get.
Bring up the meme.
Let me bring it up.
This is fighting talk.
Let me bring it up. Hold on. All right. Oh, I can share my stuff too, can I? Ha
You can. Good use of the ha-ha.
Yeah.
One sec.
Ha-ha.
You could share it.
I'm going to. I will share my screen. Here we go.
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
There we go. Do you see it?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All right. So, burgers, tacos, fried chicken, shrimp, crab legs, fried fish, pizza, pasta, and steak. I'm getting rid of burgers, man.
I'd get rid of
I
shrimp.
would-
Shrimp.
What? Are you allergic to it? Or are you just
No, I'm not
fundamentally
allergic
wrong?
to shrimp. I'm allergic to.
I'm
I'm
just
a-
mentally not
Yeah,
right.
Well, no. Here's the thing, right? Shrimp are often they're not cleaned the correct way. So you have that little shit line in there. You're supposed to take
Yeah.
a little shit line out, and a
Well,
lot
yeah.
of times they don't. So the whole idea of the fact that I have gotten a shit line before means that it doesn't matter how much I like it. At this point in time, it's ruined.
I am a
Kevin's
lover of
getting rid
shrimp. I have also gotten a shit line, and it's worth it
Well, it's like if
when the rest of the shrimp is awesome.
Well, I know, but listen, you give like 12 rim jobs, you get a little shit on one of them. You're not gonna do.
Right, exactly. But
You're
my
talking
thing
to a girl
is,
who got thrown out of Red Lobster on the shrimp buffet.
there was a woman that actually did that. It was like she was there for 8 hours eating all you can eat shrimp.
Yeah.
8 hours. She spent the entire day at Red Lobster. 8
Yeah,
hours.
That's the
I don't
dream.
know.
That's the dream.
I don't
couldn't
know.
do it, man.
I'm Irish. I grew up next to the water. I would think that shrimp, seafood, all these different things would be something I would just crave, but maybe it's because I had too much of it.
There's
I
no
just-
such
I-
thing. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
We'll
one of
get
the-
to the
I mean, maybe
Bigfoot
you're just
skull
not
in a
passionate
minute,
about it.
chat.
Yeah, sorry.
Who?
Burgers. Because
Are you
here's the
saying-
thing.
who'd you call
All
it,
the other
twat?
ones. Do what?
Who did he call a twat? We'll get to them in a minute.
Chat. I
Oh,
said
okay.
chat.
Chat.
Oh, all right.
All right, okay. But Kevin's getting rid of shrimp. I would get rid of tacos or pizza.
How dare you? Why?
Okay. I
could
like
do a
pizza
taco.
and tacos, but not as much as I like burgers. A good burger is worth 3 of those things.
Okay, so that's wrong. So first of all,
That's
pizza-
wrong.
Yeah. Okay, burgers. I love me a burger. Like, I like making them. I make good stuffed burgers. I enjoy a good burger, but it's definitely not even close to meeting any of the other things, because even pizza, you give me a pepperoni and goat cheese pizza or even like a margarita pizza, I'm done. It's
Okay. Here's the thing with
better
pizza.
than a good burger.
It has to be always eaten warm,
No, it does
or the
not.
cheese gets manky. And you can't warm it up in a microwave because it's still manky. So cheese has...
You use a skillet or the oven or your air fryer. That way the bottom is nice and crusty, and it's still got a firm crust.
No.
Because I do it in the microwave because I don't give a crap, or I'll just eat it cold.
What I find
no, because the pizza gets all soggy if you rewarm it, and the cheese is still made.
Not if you rewarm
The
it
pizza is
correctly.
out.
If you do the pizza in a skillet or in an air fryer, it will no longer be soggy.
Okay,
It
so in
crisps
my
it back
family,
up.
okay, you're wrong, but okay, we'll take that point for the time
Oh,
being.
me and you. No, okay, that's
What I find interesting about
we're
this
okay.
conversation,
We're
If we
fighting
ever
right
meet,
now.
if we
This is
ever
fighting.
meet, we're getting a pizza. We're
And,
gonna
and
let
then
it
you
go
want to
soggy the
cool
next
it
morning.
down. No,
Yes.
no,
Yeah.
we're not defiling a pizza
We
like
will
that.
eat. We will eat most of the pizza while it's still hot. But whatever the leftover, we have to have at least one slice. I will prove you wrong.
Well, you won't prove me wrong because you're wrong. There's no such thing as a good reheated pizza.
Lies.
Anyway,
Next thing you know, there's no such thing as good reheated, fried rice, and that's one of my favorite things.
fried rice is easy to reheat because it's dehydrated in the first place. Okay, but anyway,
how about the fact that English people say tacos,
Tacos,
like
tacos,
like a like a Minnesota lady. Taco.
right? A taco.
anyway, if I could be allowed to finish my point,
No, you can't because you're wrong.
let's leave the pizza talk aside for 1 second. Tacos, like my brother and my mother are gravy snobs, right? Gravy has to be made absolutely 100% perfectly to their standards or they won't touch it. Last Christmas, I spent a good hour making homemade gravy and they wouldn't touch it because the consistency wasn't to their standards. I am a taco snob, right? Tacos have to be 100% perfect or I'm not touching them. So I'd rather
What
get
is
rid
your
of
idea
tacos.
of a perfect taco?
It has to be
Like, are we
soft
talking?
shelled.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because there's no. I mean, you're right
Yeah.
so far.
Are
Go
we
ahead.
talking authentic? Like, what else do you
Yeah.
expect there to be on it?
Guacamole has to be made with fresh avocados. It can't be store-bought
You're already wrong. Continue.
guacamole.
Are we talking
Shredded
about?
beef.
Are we? Oh, so you're taking a pick of the gallo or whatever that is, or shredded beef?
No, he's saying guacamole.
Guacamole
Not.
first
See, you're already
goes on the
wrong.
soft shell.
No, it does
Then
not.
you put in the shredded beef. Then you put in assorted veg with jalapenos. Then pico de gallo on top, and then a little shredded cheese.
Okay,
I don't know.
tacos and pico de gallo.
Pick of the gallo and jalapenos.
I love jalapenos.
I said
You know
jalapenos.
what
All
my
right, I
favorite?
pronounced it
You know what my
right.
favorite is?
I was
like
going
me
for
a
the
good
Irish
vagina.
jalapenos. What did you say?
A
What did
vagina. A
Oh,
vagina.
yeah.
If we're just gonna
Vaginas.
pronounce things
Yeah.
incorrectly.
I pronounced it properly.
You
I just
know,
want that
No,
for the record,
no,
on the
it's a
record, and let
Spanish.
the
It's
record
a
show.
Spanish word, so it's
Yeah.
tacos because the A in Spanish is the ah sound, and
There's a
it's
lot of
pico de
British people in
gallo because
Spain.
it's a double L, like pollo is not polo. So
In
it's
any
a Y
case,
sound. You're wrong. Again.
you can get rid of pizza and tacos instead of burgers.
Okay, so what
Burgers
you're
stay.
saying is you're a taco snob, but not for real
Yeah.
authentic Mexican tacos. You
Yeah.
want
That's
something
how you make a real
Mexican.
authentic
No, it is
taco.
not. You
Well,
get
yeah, but
as someone that's been to Mexico, they
you can
don't
get
put guacamole in it.
There we
They
go.
put
You're
slices of
Mexican.
avocado.
And
You
it's
also
Niki and I'm
forgot
making shit up.
cilantro.
right
They don't do a lot of cheese.
cilantro, and you could
Oh,
change it. You could get la lingua. You could get
oh
tongue.
yeah, yes, and
Anyway,
that's the best, man.
when I lived in Colorado, there used to be a Mexican truck run by real Mexicans
One
who
of
Oh,
the
did
well, yeah,
shredded
real
beef
Mexicans.
burritos, shredded beef tacos that were fantastic, and that's how they made them.
They're
Oh,
not
fuck you both.
authentic. You can't
You are
go to a
wrong.
food truck ran by. Listen, there's a crap ton of Mexicans at my Mexican restaurants around here, and it's not real Mexican food. Just
Yeah, but
because
Well, if they're real
a
Mexicans
Hispanic guy
making it,
works at Taco Bell doesn't mean that it's a real
yeah, but
taco.
okay, but what
that's
I'm
just
saying is,
ridiculous.
in Colorado, you can get really, really authentic. I mean, like what I find is interesting about it is, like on South Park, which is supposed to be in Colorado, that like
Yeah.
95% of the people in that school aren't Mexican.
Well, my
I'm
thing,
just
okay, so I'm weird. My perfect taco is the most simple thing ever. I just like chorizo and some
okay. You're
cilantro.
wrong.
That is my
You're so
first,
wrong.
my perfect. What? Chorizo's the best.
Chorizo should be removed from food entirely. It's
Oh my gosh,
greasy.
you are
It
incorrect.
tastes like shit. It's
It's
horrible.
delicious. You just don't have
Chorizo is
good
the
taste.
worst.
You got that stupid British taste. Everything's like potatoes and
You're just being racist because you know
gravy.
you're wrong.
Oh,
Okay, but I'm gonna
racist.
open it.
Oh, okay. I didn't
I'm gonna.
realize.
Yeah, you're being racist
I'm
against
just
British people
oppressing the
right now.
white man, right? I'm so sorry.
Oppressing the British person. That's what you're doing. But okay, we'll open it up to the chat.
Okay,
Okay.
colonizer.
Yeah, OG colonizer. We were the ones who did it right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh, good for you, Loveland, Colorado, Rod Dupree. But yeah, from the chat, what would you get rid of on that list that Niki's gotten rid of now? I'm just interested. But I'd keep burgers. I'd die for burgers. Burgers are my soul food.
Yeah, burgers, because there's
Uh,
nothing better than a big old greasy burger
there's
with
nothing
like the
better
fat
than
dripping down your arm, and it's
that's
just
a
like,
lie. There's nothing better than a big old juicy rare steak.
Yeah, steaks are
depends.
good.
Well, that depends. It really depends on if the steak is cooked the correct way, which most
That's
of the times
true.
they won't be.
That's true. I mean, you can tell it's a good steak, and if it's cooked well by whether or not you have to have A1 sauce or something. Like, if I ask for Heinz 57, it's not a good steak.
There's only one way to eat a steak. Well done.
Yuck.
Well done.
Why? Why did
If
you
you
kill
eat it
that
well
cow?
done, then you would be then you're gonna get it. I can tell you from working in a restaurant, if you order it well done, you're getting the worst cut because
Yeah.
there's no reason to give you the best of the steak.
Right. You've just killed. Like, just take the cow to the oven, let it look at it in fear, and then stick it on my plate.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're
blue
Bit of
rare.
attention from the
Yes,
chat.
I'm with
Yeah.
you. Blue is good. I don't order it by myself, but my nephew often orders it. Like, we go to those, what is it, all you can eat steak places. They have them on the swords and whatever. And so anyway, they're awesome, but he orders them that way, and I
all
will
you
eat
can
it
eat
with him.
steak restaurants on the swords,
Okay, yeah, so it's like Brazilian or something
oh yeah,
like that.
Brazilian
Yeah,
steakhouse,
Brazilian
Brazilian
steakhouse.
steakhouse, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
yeah.
we go to those, and so usually everything is medium rare unless you special order it. Well, my nephew likes blue rare, but they have to take the entire steak for that. So they just serve him the whole steak, and it's a big ass chunk of meat. So we usually will split it. I don't order blue rare on my own. I order rare or medium rare, but I do enjoy a good blue rare steak occasionally.
Mm.
Yeah, I used to hate Colorado in the summer, Rod. The dead of winter was terrible. I remember once my stepdaughter, she in the middle of the Colorado winter, she ran straight out of the trailer into the snow and just disappeared into a snowbank, and I could only see a little pink hat sticking up over it.
Yeah, but you
But the
gotta
summer is
understand,
terrible.
Colorado in the summertime, there's zones of Colorado, right? You've got down by the, the, what do you call that, Mesa Verde area, the fork, what do you call that area, like the Mesa area, I mean, the plateau, and then you've got the Rockies and all that stuff. I mean, it's different,
I used to live right in the middle in Lyman, Colorado, Hub City.
yeah. I spent a lot of time up in by Glenwood Springs, Colorado, up in the mountains, and that was great. That was brilliant. Not too hot, not too cold. It was freaking awesome. And but Durango I liked a lot. But anywhere other than that, like if you get up in Grand Junction or something, I could wipe my ass with that place. But
We'd go
anyway,
to Colorado Springs in the winter, but Denver in the summer, because Denver was a lot better than Colorado Springs.
yeah, well,
Anyway, so Niki's wrong opinion about what food to get rid of aside, Bigfoot skull been found, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sure. Sure,
Well,
that's totally a real thing that actually happened.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
let's have a look. Let's have a look at the picture, shall we? Before
Yeah.
we
Yeah, I
start.
would love to. I'm gonna make fun of it regardless, but let's do this. Let's see what piece of crap we're looking at right now.
Before you descend. So here we go. Got a nice little gorilla, Bigfoot skull.
Yeah, gorilla skull. You mean?
We've got a nice primate skull there. We've got this dude in a poncho. This is in Canada, so why he's wearing a
yeah. It's in
that?
British Columbia too. You know.
It's why
That's
he's
why he's
wearing
wearing a
his
poncho.
Yeah.
particular costume is beyond me. But he's found himself a nice little skull. Pay no attention to his well manicured hands. He's very much an outdoorsman.
It's rugged. Look at that.
Rugged.
It's like a,
I've got myself a nice little picture of him up close and personal.
With his soft,
So-
soft baby hands.
yeah, soft hands.
Here
It's
we
like
go.
touch. It's like touching.
Look at this. Look at this dude. This is a mountain man right here.
Uh-huh.
This is
Yeah.
a dude that was birthed by bears, played with wolves as a kid, just spent his entire life in the mountains. Don't let the well manicured douche beard or the obvious costume throw you off. This is
Yeah.
a dude who is born to hunt for Bigfoot.
Look at
Right.
those giant hands, man. He got some sausage fingers going on.
Well, I think. Well,
Look at how huge his hand looks, just
He's
compared to
he's-
the rest of them.
he's retaining water because he had to walk in the outdoors, and and you know, and he got up that morning and said, "How much more like the outlaw Josie Wales can I look?" And then he put that on, and he went for a fistful of dollars, and then he found a few dollars more, and then he dug up the skull that he printed out on his 3D printer, and dug it up and said, "Oh look, I'm Coyote Johnson or whatever the hell his name is."
All right, yeah, because we haven't got to his name yet. His
Oh,
name
okay.
is Coyote Peterson.
Uh-huh.
He
No,
is
you're
a-
close.
Yes.
He is a
Coyote euphemism for a dick.
he is
Peter, John,
he was
whatever.
reported by people who went to school with him as a man who really wanted his own TV show.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
Oh, so like every other Bigfooter.
Yeah. So don't let. But like I said, you know that Rob Dupree has pointed out the fancy bracelets. Don't let that dissuade you. Don't let the costume dissuade you. Don't let the well manicured douchebeard dissuade you. Don't let anything dissuade you from this man has found a Bigfoot skull.
Yes.
that
But-
obviously
but-
looks like a gorilla. Look at it.
He has not said it's a Bigfoot skull. He has not made Stacey Brown's mistake of saying an obvious alligator arm was a undiscovered primate arm. He has said, "I found this skull." That is all he has said. But he's posted it in a lot of Bigfoot groups, so make of that what you will.
Right. Well, I mean,
It's
the
a
thing
big
about it
gorilla.
is, I mean, what I find interesting about it is that everybody was every Bigfoot expert was all over themselves saying, "Oh, it's not real. It's not real. It's not this. It's not that." I mean, these are same people who, like that lady from Expedition Sasquatch or whatever the show's called. With the it could have been the urine of a chimpanzee that she's spreading around, and then all of a sudden comes back with some DNA from a chimpanzee, but that has nothing to do with it. So even though all these places that are like, could it be, all these different things, they were like, nope, that's not real. Which
That's not
leads me,
real.
yeah, well, that's what I leads me to believe is, how do you know with such certainty that it's not real? Looking at it from a photograph, other than the fact that you didn't find it, so therefore you can't profit from it. Did you die, Richard?
Yep, he died. Wow. I'm so sorry, you guys.
That was like a big boy burp.
I know. That was not me. My husband just let it go and then immediately went, oh, I'm sorry. And like
Well,
covered his mouth.
you should have just said it was Richard.
I know I should have. I should have just
Yeah,
been
you
like,
should have just got
man,
along with it. I
is
wonder
he?
if he realizes that he dropped that.
Yeah, I was about
No,
to say, is he even here? He's probably just still talking.
well, you know, Richard before the show had said that he had gone up the mountain today, and he was looking for things, and he was knackered. He couldn't stay awake, and I said, "Well, Nikki, what do you think? As far as this goes, why don't you just go on there, Richard, and say, okay, well, I'm too tired to do this. We'll do it next week." And I said, or because you had the COVID, I have things,
Yeah.
that that I could do instead. It's not a big
Yeah.
deal. And I said, I have a feeling that he passed out. Like he seriously is passed. And the funny thing about it is even if he's sitting there with his headphones on, we won't
Hmm.
be able to wake him up.
Oh, I can wake him up.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Hold up. I bet you I
Because
can wake
usually
him up.
once he's done, he's done.
That's true. Once he's done, he's done. But
Yeah. He's a hit it and quit it kind of a guy.
yeah, give me one sec. I'm calling him.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Hey!
My internet cut out for a minute there.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was it or not, so I called you because I was like, if you fell asleep, I was figuring I'd be able to hear your phone in the background.
No. My internet just cut out for a second.
Okay.
You know
Hold
what
on.
it was? It was it was the FBI and the CIA trying to talk about the fact that we they were trying to tell you to make sure that we were doing a pretty good job of saying that Bigfoot wasn't real, but that's
Yeah.
what we would say because we're paid shills
I'm
for the,
definitely one of
for the
those.
government that
Yeah.
just goes on to these things and then actually takes real stories of people who find Bigfoot and then make fun of them.
Anyway, we don't know for 100% certain that it's not real, but we can hazard a guess based upon the fact that this dude looks like a douchebag. And, well, you don't, Nikki, you're more clued in than me and Kevin. Tell me I'm wrong.
You were correct. He looks like a douchebag, and I don't pass up opportunities to tell you that you're wrong. But
Nikki never
yeah,
misses an opportunity to tell me I'm
nope.
wrong.
So yeah, no, he definitely. Why? Just the whole get up. Why?
Why?
Are you like
Well,
Indiana Jones? Like I don't get the aesthetic. I don't understand. And the thing is like I love how he had his camera ready to find it in the puddle. Like when I see something weird in a puddle, I'm not taking a picture of it with my camera first. I'm like at least poking it with a stick and crap. I
oh yeah,
probably wouldn't have even thought to take a picture of it until much later, and probably not at all when I looked at it and realized that it's probably like Rod said, like a large baboon or something. Like it's obviously a primate skull and not like I don't know. It's a gorilla. It's something. I would just have assumed that it was nothing.
right.
But the
Well,
fact that it was planted in a puddle and he took
yes,
a picture of it and then took a picture of him reaching in to grab it,
yes,
there's too much production, even with his clothes. Why do
right.
you never see like some bigfooting person out there in just their crappy outfits, when they discover something? You notice they all look like, they've got their shit together.
Well, yeah,
And we
because
know
well,
bigfooters don't.
maybe this is planned. Maybe that was the idea.
The whole thing is planted. I mean, it's very
I
obvious.
I want to know what what your face would say from where was he from? North Carolina. Hey, this is the man. I found it here. What was that guy's name?
Oh, Dan.
Oh yeah, Doubleday Dan or
Yeah,
something.
no, I love that man now. If he had found something, that would have been really cool.
Yeah.
And I would have believed it. But
I've been thinking lately about bringing the videos back, just a couple at the beginning of the show.
that'd
You
be
know.
cool if we could find anything amusing. You
I
know?
just stopped because they were all pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you know,
I think it's fine. I mean, I mean, definitely, um, it leads me to be more offensive in other areas than normal. But but I could still be offensive towards. I try not to be too offensive towards Bigfoot people. I am a Bigfoot person, and I do believe in Bigfoot, but I don't think it looks like a big freaking monkey. Either. That's
Yeah, I don't get it. But just the there's so much production. Like you gonna take a picture of your muddy fingers just gently caressing this like these
yes,
aren't like I don't
yeah.
yeah.
No dirt underneath his fingernails at
Right,
all.
he had someone with him to take the
Yeah,
pictures.
just luckily enough, it was just like
Yeah.
not
Just
one callus on his hand.
right, just baby smooth hands.
Yeah, you know. So but that leads you to believe like what I mean. What's his deal? You know what I mean? Are you're walking next. He's not like was he next to a trail? What? Why is he out there in the middle of nowhere? Was he
yeah, we
Because
looking?
don't
he's a
have any
Bigfooter and he
content.
wanted to hoax and he was like, "Hey, I got this really cool skull from someone's crappy garage sale, and I'm
Well, you
gonna
got to
take it
figure.
out
You
to the
got to figure
woods."
that
And
an ape, a gorilla skull, um, is
The
worth.
only thing I could find out about him was A, he wanted to be a TV star when he was in school, and he self identifies as a YouTube wildlife documentarian.
Oh, okay,
And that's literally all I can find out. I'm not as plugged into the Bigfoot world as I used to be.
right.
Um,
I can
Well, I
get a
mean,
replica skull for about $450. I just looked
yeah,
it up.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. $450 is not cheap.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is if you found it in your attic and it wasn't yours to begin with, and you didn't know how much someone had spent on it,
Yeah, well, that's
and you
true.
put it, I mean, I would sell it
That's
for
true.
a couple bucks at a yard sale. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's true. But
it's just,
anybody can go on the internet and see what something's worth. That's the thing.
exactly.
You don't get the deals like you used to back in the day. I've noticed. But one thing that I've noticed about it is it's like okay. So Richter said to me today. I was asking him about it, and he said, "Well, it's not this group of people that you have to worry about. It's the next group of people who come into Bigfoot." you know like okay, so we'll see this story and we will be the first ones who'll say okay, that's all bullshit, blah blah blah. Then people will stop talking about it because they're oversaturated, and it'll be the next group of people who come into it that are all wide-eyed and superstars after we're
Hmm.
done talking about it, that they'll be the ones that'll say, well, what about this, what about that, and they'll believe it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because they don't know how the Bigfoot world works. It's like there's waves. It's not this wave that we have to worry about. It's the next wave of rubes. We've already been taken, for all we're going to be taken for. So we're not going to fall for it. But the next group of people have not been taken yet.
Richard, I sent you a couple of
yeah,
pictures.
I'm sorting it out.
Yeah.
Pictures of what?
Um,
This is what
Oh,
the
Niki
yeah,
got.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I found. Yeah, that is one of the replicas I could find. If you look at it compared to what he has, it's pretty much the same. And then I sent him another one that's very similar.
Yeah, I'm bringing that one up now. That's more of a 3D model than a.
Yeah.
But no other bones. So like I said, was the jaw wasn't attached to it, was it?
No, it's just the
Yeah.
top
Okay.
bit.
Yeah. Okay.
In fact, you can see in the original, it's missing a canine.
Right.
Right. So I'm just saying it could have been a replica that he bought. He didn't even have to get it for cheap. He could have just bought it.
Oh, that's the wrong one. I need the one where he looks like a douchebag. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry, but I saw the skull picture, and then I saw what he looked like, and you can see there the canines are missing. So, and I was just like, that dude looks like a douchebag. I don't trust that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it is what it is. But it's one of those things where so like you got to make hay while the sun shines, and at least somebody tried to do something.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I mean, other than this dude coming up with this stuff, we haven't had any. We haven't even had any good stuff lately at all. I mean, has
We're
anybody?
just waiting for Rick Dyer to come back right now.
Well, no. I mean, I'm saying, funnily enough, there's been one or two movies that were put out this year about Bigfoot, and I mean, I don't even hear people really talking about that. It's just like, well, maybe I'm not focusing on it or something like that, but it just seems like from that standpoint, you know, it's like, okay, come to this convention or whatever because we're gonna, talk about this movie, and then they show the movie, and then that's it, just drops off the face of the earth, and is it good or is it bad? Or I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't review movies, and I don't really watch them. I'm not going to spend money to watch it, but I think a lot of people in that case. But it'd be interesting. Has any, since we haven't talked about Bigfoot in a while, has anybody in the audience seen a good Bigfoot movie lately, or anything?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Um,
Gotta be honest, like since Finding Bigfoot ended, it just seems like Bigfoot's faded from popular culture again.
Right.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they tried to bring it back with Expedition Bigfoot, but no one seemed to care.
Well, that's because again, it's so. I mean,
Shit.
uh, well, it doesn't help that in a lot of ways, um, the group of people don't seem that cohesive. You know what I mean?
They're
And
not
so,
cohesive. You can't help but feel Russell Accords got Bob Gimlin locked up in his basement.
yeah,
But he deserves that for eating them Bigfoot.
exactly. Maybe that's where he. Maybe that's where he. Maybe
I'm
Bob.
just saying.
If Bob
you
shows
know,
up with a necklace of like canines of Bigfoot around his neck.
I'm glad I remembered that because we got another comment on the old MK Davis massacre theory video we did
Yeah.
like 2 years ago now, pretty much. Got another comment on that. People are still listening to it and still calling us dip asses because we got it wrong.
Because we said that it didn't happen.
Yeah, because we said it was a load of bollocks, basically.
And I'm still waiting for somebody to fucking contact me, and I said that I would bring down a GPR, ground penetrating radar, and I would stake it out within reason. I'm not going to go all over the friggin' country with it, but I will go down there where he says the grave is within a certain amount of feet, and I will run it down there. And if there is a grave with a body in it, I'll find it. But nope.
Well, there isn't any graves. We know there's no graves because Bob Giblin ate those Bigfoot.
Exactly. And there ain't no
That's what happened.
Because
They
there was
shot
no
the Bigfoot and then Gimlin ate them.
Yes.
Every single conspiracy theory has been solved by Bob Gimlin eating them. That's Roswell, Gimlin ate them.
Oh, so Steven says that the Flash of Beauty Bigfoot is a good movie. Yeah. Pretty good movie. Pretty good movie. That's good.
Well,
I mean, I'd heard about that, and I knew that there was some people that was in it, that were talking about it, and that they maybe we're going to do 2 more iterations of that film. I don't know.
So I've just got to ask: is anyone even remotely on the fence on this Bigfoot skull, or is everyone convinced it's just a load of bollocks?
It's a load of bollocks. Listen, as much as I want to believe in Bigfoot, I absolutely don't. and I will. I'm sorry. I want
As much
to.
as I want to believe in Bigfoot, I
I
don't.
just don't. I don't. And I would love. I honestly would love for there to be some kind of actual proof or something that seemed like proof that wasn't immediately like a you point it out and go, oh yeah, that's trash. Like
For
that's
context,
obviously.
ladies and gentlemen, this is coming from a woman that won't enter a house without burning sage and onion.
I won't what my house?
Enter a house without burning sage and onion.
Oh yeah, that's me.
Sage and onion. I mean, I
Yeah,
know, but
It's
Okay.
delicious, man. You put it.
It gets rid
you
of
get your
ghosts. It gets
chicken.
rid of mean ghosts.
I understand what sage does.
Yeah,
But
the
I've
onion
never heard.
doesn't do that. Yeah, I've never heard
Yeah.
of sage and onion either.
Yeah, I think he's talking about stuffing. Are you talking
I'm
about?
just,
Yeah, I
I'm
love
just,
stuffing,
I'm just
man.
messing. All right,
It's so
it was
delicious.
supposed to be a joke, and it
Yeah.
fell on its ass.
Well, no,
All
Yeah,
right.
because it wasn't funny.
no, because
It
I'm
was pretty funny. And you walk under a house without burning sage and onion. All right.
all
It's
right.
like burning sage, but with onion as well.
I thought you like.
I dip my toes in woo. I that's not true. I take full body plunges in woo.
She is
Um,
a complete wooaholic.
I
Yeah.
love woo, but I just I don't believe in Bigfoot. I want to, but
Well,
it's
I
a,
mean, the way I look at it is, like I said, it's a, for spiritual reasons, a lot of times people do like the woo and what have you, and you can look at that and say, okay, that's logical or not logical, or you could say
right.
that and that. And a lot of times you do take a look at things and say there's some reason or benefit from doing
Yeah.
this practice or whatever.
Right. Like
you-
I love crystals. I don't think that they do anything. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
Don't
But
talk about the crystals.
listen, but if they help me to meditate on something, why not? What's the hurt in it?
Yeah, if it's a focus of,
Right, if it's a
a point
focus.
of focus.
Oh, breaking
Right.
news from Steven Struford. Coyote Peterson has apparently admitted it was just a hypothetical situation and just clickbait. So this entire
Yeah,
conversation
this
is academic.
Oh,
Oh,
I figured that like he was gonna say something like because he said I found this skull and then did it
Yeah.
to all these these Bigfoot places. It wasn't like he was saying it's
Did
a
you just
Bigfoot skull
confuse Bigfoot and football?
with football. Yeah, listen.
How do you even make that bridge in your head?
yeah,
A,
but you see, I think
do you understand how many meds I'm on?
Yeah,
quote unquote meds.
Meds I'm on. I've
Yes,
had COVID for over a week.
yes.
So
yeah,
yeah,
be quiet while Daddy takes his medicine.
basically.
okay.
Yeah.
No, we don't say
We're
that.
not allowed to do the daddy thing. It became horrible. We grossed each other out.
It became
Oh,
a thing
no,
between
yeah,
me
no,
and
I
Niki.
was-
Okay,
I
there
was
were no winners in that situation.
I was talking more about my kids whenever I was, like, shut up. Anyway, but what? Okay, but you see, this is where I think the guy got weak because he admitted it too soon.
Yeah.
He should have
You
just,
wouldn't catch Rick Dyer
yeah,
ever admitting a hoax until he'd made his money. Tom
Right.
Stanley still has yet to admit that he's full of shit. Matthew Johnson still yet to admit he's full of shit. Kelly Shaw, to this day, will tell you that a picture of what is obviously a log is a Bigfoot. This dip ass didn't even go a week.
yeah,
Have
no,
some
weak.
dignity.
you
Have
have,
some dignity.
No,
Hashtag make hoaxes great again.
you gotta. I mean, as much as you gotta do it, here's the difference, right? It's the difference between Boris Johnson and the former president
Oh.
of the United States. One of them admitted he did something wrong, and the other one never did. And one of them is out fast, and the other one is still everybody can't get enough of.
I'm telling you, the hashtag make hoaxes great again. We can make this work.
Just
I
do
just
it.
need to learn. I just need to learn how Twitter works.
Well, no,
No,
I don't-
no, it's
I don't-
super easy. Do I need to teach you Twitter and Terraria?
Yeah,
Terraria.
you do.
Okay, but my
Terraria,
point of the
yeah,
matter is
Terraria.
he should have brassed it out. He should have brassed it out.
Yeah, he
I
should have. He should
definitely.
have just. Or
Yeah.
just
You
dropped
can't just-
off into nothingness.
Yeah, you can't just leave it a few days and then go, by the way, I was kidding. No. You go to the bloody, what's it called?
You
Damn
jump
it.
Well,
in
see,
balls deep, you guys.
Yeah, go balls deep. You go to
Yeah.
the
hashtag balls deep.
Hashtag
hashtag balls deep.
balls.
Hashtag make stockades. You go to the stockades with it. You know, you
Yeah.
push it as far as you can, and you never ever admit that it's bullshit.
Well,
That's
here's
the
the thing about
Bigfoot way.
it, right? If you don't ever admit that it's a hoax, then you do get your own television show.
Exactly. Look at Matt
Yeah.
Even
Moneymaker. Look at Russell Accord.
if
Look at Dean Kane.
if anybody
Dean Kane.
Yeah,
Wait, Dean Kane, like Superman Dean Kane?
Superman,
yeah.
Like
He did a
the
Bigfoot
Adventures
show.
of Lois and Clark
yeah,
Dean Kane?
yes,
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I love him. I love
he
that.
did a Bigfoot show. He did a I can't remember.
the
Bigfoot
10 billion
Bounty.
big dollar bounty that Stacey
Yeah,
$10
Brown
million
won.
Bigfoot bounty. I'm looking at it
Yeah,
right now.
it was on
yeah,
Spike TV.
I have
yeah.
had a crush on that man since,
Spike
gosh, I was
TV.
young.
Farts, booze, women, for men.
Oh, he looks better now that he's gained like a ton of weight.
He looks.
Savage Niki.
You said
No,
what? He
he
looks
really
gay.
does. I love me a rockin' dad bod. Yes, please.
Oh,
And just you know, like the new Superman Adventures of Lewis and Clark. Just that was my childhood. That was
okay.
my
That was
Wait a
my
childhood.
minute.
childhood too.
After
Was that
school.
was that the one with Terry Hatcher on it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my God! Then
Yeah,
that was, yeah. I
that was
mean,
a good one.
the fact that I couldn't see past Terry Hatcher to Dean Kane, I think that would
Mm.
probably be I
Second
would be like,
celebrity crush, Terry Hatcher.
oh,
Terry Hatcher. Oh, and Jerry Gershon. Is that her name?
Gina Gershon.
Gina Gershon. Yeah, I love her too.
Yeah,
I find
love
her
me,
Great
attractive.
love
show.
me some
And
Gersh.
it's aged so terribly. I would not recommend anyone go back and watch it. But you know, for what it was back in the day, that was a good show.
Yeah,
But
but
anyway, yeah, that's you know, Matt Moneymaker, Russell Accord, Dean Kane. You know, you never say it's bullshit. You just keep going.
right.
And if this dude's just giving up the ghost that quickly, I mean,
Dig in your heels.
Todd
Yeah.
Stanley has never once admitted, despite the fact that it's obviously all bullshit, that it's bullshit.
Well, Melba Ketchum's never admitted it either. I mean,
Exactly. Melba Ketchum. There's a woman. The scientific community said, we're not publishing your bullshit paper. Get the fuck out of here. So she did it herself. There's
Yeah.
a woman that was committed to the lie. Make
And-
hoaxes great again.
right. And then the fact that you see, but then because then you get support from people who are contrary. I mean, let's put it this way: people in Bigfoot are naturally conspiracy theorists, right? Because they
Yeah,
think to
obviously.
themselves, you can't have this out in the woods without somebody knowing about it. The
Yeah,
government
without the
knows,
government covering it up.
or
Who was that?
Yeah, they're covering.
Dude from Team Squatching, that Neil Burgermeister. He had a really weird last name, but that dude was committed to
Yeah.
conspiracy theory. When I published that blog about Nathan Rio hoaxing the Monument Wallow video, he fucking contacted me and he threatened me with lawsuits. He threatened to kick my ass unless I took that, because it was all a false flag operation. You know, that I was a Zionist shill who didn't respect the American Constitution. That's commitment. That's
Yeah.
commitment to the conspiracy line.
Right. But
You don't get that shit anymore. I'm just
That-
saying.
well, not. I mean, that's not true. I mean, I mean, um, those people just tend to not actually work in. I mean, I think that if you want the whole Q thing, just join Matt's group anyway. But
I would
anyway,
if I could, but for some reason he won't let me join.
really?
Hmm.
Well, anyway, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm kicked out yet. I don't know, but if I am, I mean, but what? But I think that the funny, the thing that I find interesting about it is that, then whenever you say that doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, you do it. You're actually aiding them. I've said that to that these people love it. I mean, if Steven's still listening, you could say, for example, that the coalition sort of helps some of this simply because of the fact that they point out how stupid it is, and then they say, "Well, Stephen's part of a group from the government that's paid to troll us and everything like that," and that actually goes along. That actually sort of that it's so illogical that it makes sense to people like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of people that believe in Q.
Well, of course, but what I'm saying is that I mean, uh, you know, uh, uh, you show people. I'm not unsure what the logical principle is called, but there is something that's like, okay, it's the illogical idea of the more that you show somebody that it can't be real, the more they believe it. You know what I mean? That's just what we've gotten with this scenario now. So I mean, that's one of those. That's one of those things where you take it and you show the Bob Gimlin film, and then you say, okay, there's lots of problems with this, and is it real or is it not real? I don't know, but you know, there are some problems with the whole idea of it, and so therefore, you look at it and you go farther, and then people will start to diverge from the fact that, okay, if that's not real, then we don't have any good evidence. Then so therefore, we'll make evidence that looks good from Woo, because Woo's easy to do, and how can you how can you do it? So I mean, uh, other than eyewitness stuff, which is not necessarily all that great as far as evidence goes, um, there's not a whole lot of evidence of something happening. I mean, there's evidence of phenomena happening, but whether that's Bigfoot or not, it's a totally different subject. You see what I'm
That
saying?
was a good hoax recently, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Who was that cunt in the coalition said he had the original Patterson film?
Oh, Jack Johnson or John Johnson or something. John L. Johnson.
That was a decent hoax recently. I mean, that dude never gave it up. He just kept going and going and going.
Well, I never believed that he had it, but I mean, he was an interesting guy. I mean, the funny thing about it is um, from the standpoint of that, he did make a film uh, with. I mean, there was people that are actual people in it. Like I mean,
As
like
opposed to fake people.
Steven was in it. Some Ron Pine was in it. So he's a professor. But my point of the matter is that you know he was doing that. I don't understand where he sort of went off the rails there. You know, it sounded to me like at one point in time he had a very traumatic experience with some Bigfooter in the woods or something like that. I didn't get into it, and I don't know who it was or whatever, but it sounded to me like he had been threatened by someone, and so he, at that point in time,
Yeah, but that's just Bigfoot life, man.
yeah, well, I mean, that's because
I will say this: I never got threatened once for any of my blogs against Matthew Johnson.
yeah.
And you'd think that would be the one that would trigger people. But I never got a death threat over that. I got death threats over Utah Sasquatch and what's her face in the Sierras, Sarah Brown. I got death threats every time I called her crazy. But she was mental, to be fair. But I never once got a death threat from Matthew Johnson.
Well, I think that his approach to it in certain ways was he never said to be violent towards other people. I mean, he himself got overwrought about things, and I mean, you know what I mean. But at a certain point in time, it was like, um, I don't think he would have damaged other people, but I mean, or encouraged anybody else to do it. But he would think about it. I mean, like I obviously there was that, because I mean, when Stephen and Richter and them. I don't know if it was Richter or Stephen that found the Soha place. I mean, he was fucking. He went sideways, right? But I mean, um, because
that was Stephen and Jamie Wayne that originally went to Soho.
right. But so that's.
But that was a big group of people that found it. I mean, Phil was in that group. I was in that group. There was a lot of people looking for Soho.
Yeah, and I think and it was funny. Stephen had contacted me one time, and he said, on the new Soya place, he basically did a good idea. He had a good idea, which was to like show the mountains in the valley across the way from there, and he kind of picked up where it was. And although he said to me, well, I said I can't. I can't. I promised I would never say where it was. You know what I mean? But I mean, it sounded like to me because he figured out the landscape across the way and matched it up that he knew exactly where it was. So, I mean, not that
Soha or Sawyer.
Soya.
Yeah,
Soya.
I was never involved in that.
Yeah. But
that was during my heel phase, so I was in tight with everyone at that point.
Well, I mean that's the way it is. But I mean, from that standpoint, what's the point in going there anyway? You know what I mean? It's probably not that far away from Stephen, to be honest with you. I mean, it would be 5 or 6 hours from him, but at the same point in time, it's like, well, what's the point? I mean, if he's doing it in his property up here, then why?
Yeah, that was my thing when because Steve Alcorn asked me when Jamie and Stephen went to Soa why I didn't blog about it. I was like, there's literally no point. He's literally just going to say that the Bigfoot are going to tell him to move elsewhere. So there's no point making a big deal about it. I mean, Jamie and Stephen did it because, like, Matt Johnson said they'd never find it, and I respect them for finding it and going there. But there was no point in making a big deal about it because he was just going to be like, the Bigfoot told me to move anyway. So.
Right, yeah, it's like trying to put your thumb on a wet willy, right? You can't. Yeah. I mean, when you stick your thumb down on it, it just squirts somewhere else. You can't ever get there. I mean, you can't get there from here, and I think that's part of it. But there's a lot of things about that. You know what I mean? It's like the goalposts always move.
Yeah,
especially
with Bigfoot.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that happens is that with Bigfoot that it seems to happen is that there's friends in Bigfoot, and then they maybe don't become friends, and then all of a sudden they want to destroy each other, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. It's like, I mean, I don't dislike Matt, but I don't agree with Matt on most of anything anymore. But
I dislike him.
Yeah. But he's kept his word to me about what I've told him, and then I've done it to him about that. And I think that we could probably be more like that instead of everybody's like turns over on everybody. Next thing you know, they're saying, "Oh, this and that." But again, there's so many rumors in Bigfoot. Like, oh well, this person said this about you, or this person said this about him, or this person said this about that. So then the next thing you know, it's like everybody's fighting about it. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have blocked me, and I have no idea.
Steven Struthert there confirming he is indeed Men in Black.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of people have blocked me, and I can't figure out why. I've given them money in the past for stuff, and I've helped them with stuff, and the next thing you know, it's like next block. That's it.
I think I only ever blocked 2 people in the Bigfoot world, and not for very long. I blocked Ryan Redding for a while because he was really fucking annoying. Like, he was so annoying. I definitely blocked Keegan Reid because I had to. Because I was writing too many blogs about it, and I was just giving him too much attention.
There's another guy that seemed like he wanted to be a sort of a Bigfoot pastor.
Keegan Ray. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
He was so desperate. Like, I'll say this. This is the only thing I'll say about positive about Matt Johnson is he's prepared to earn his cult leader status. Like he's prepared to put shit out there and host conventions and manufacture evidence and whatever else he does. He's prepared to put the work in. Keegan Ray was just not prepared. He just wanted to sit in his little trailer and make long form videos about how he was. And he used to sign things like he descended from Robert the Bruce. I'm just like, okay, even if that's true, so what? That doesn't mean anything in the Bigfoot world.
Right.
That you're descended from a Scottish king.
Yeah. Well, I mean, well, the thing that I find interesting about that is that Keegan Reid had had a proclivity to smoke weed like fucking crazy. You know what I mean? You couldn't watch any of his things that after you got onto the talking with Keegan Reid thing, you get past that, he'd say, "I'm Keegan Reid. We're going to talk to Barb Schuper, whoever today or whatever," and then next thing you know, it's like, here I am hitting the bong. You know what I mean? You hear the lighter click click,
Yeah.
and then it's just like,
dude was just
and it's like,
burned off
okay,
his head.
why? At a certain point in time, if you want to be taken seriously, learn how to do your audio, so at least you know how to mute it when you're taking bong rips.
When you're hitting
what I
that
mean?
bong.
Yeah.
I just, we've seen a lot of wankers come and go from the Bigfoot world, but Keegan Ray is definitely up there as a wanker, proper one. Mitchell Wilson in the chat, Matt Johnson won a knob. Yeah, he is a knob.
What? Something. He went
Uh-oh.
away again. He's lost his commercial. He's lost this thing.
His internet. His
Yeah.
crappy internet.
Well, I
Well,
was talking to him about it before, and I'm like, okay, what do you have? It's like, I think it's like run like a cellular, like a mobile system that he's got there. It's not even like hard lined in.
yeah, I don't know. Like it's gotten better. About a couple years ago, it was really bad. I used
Well,
to
yeah,
make fun of him.
but he lives in the. I mean, to be honest, I get it, because to be honest with you, my wee house that I have in um, uh, Gray Abbey,
Mhm.
it just. I mean, because I'm never there, I only have the internet that comes through, like the 5G or whatever the thing,
Yeah.
and through the cellular network, and it's just terrible where I live, and so um, but so it's always hard with that, but it's this. But where I was, there's no point in trying to put in a different line, especially because it was so ancient. And
Right.
Richard lives out in the middle of friggin' BFE,
Right.
so they're not going to spend any money on anything other than that. Are you there, big lad?
He's thinking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's here, but I don't know if he realizes we can't hear you.
Yeah. We can't hear you.
We only had a few minutes left anyway.
Right.
Matthew
Yeah, I know, but
Johnson.
it doesn't automatically turn off, is my point.
I agree with Mitchell. What a knob.
Who? Me?
No, Matthew Johnson.
Oh.
Uh,
I mean, I don't know what it would be. I mean, to be honest with you, well, you should just end it. To be honest with you, it's a very hard it's a very hard thing to imagine being around Matt anymore. From that standpoint, there
yeah.
were times that he would actually show kindness and things like that. But I mean, that's he's on his own trip, and I don't think Bigfoot is a big part of it. To be honest with you, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it.
Nah,
He's off the reservation. He's
for sure.
he,
I mean,
he's lost the script.
whenever you're hosting these things in your back garden, I mean, because that's that. But I mean, like I said, it was some strange strange old stuff he's been saying, but that's fine. I hope like in a lot of ways, Nikki, I've said it to people. You know, my mental health over the last couple of years with the COVID and everything like that is not has gone down. It's gone. I
Mhm.
mean, there's no doubt about it. I'm more depressed than ever and stuff like that. I've got to look for different ways to pull myself out of it.
Yeah. I
But
think most people feel that way. I think really, like, mine has been the prices of stuff and things like that with the
yeah,
COVID. It was never about staying home because I am a homebody. I'm very much an introvert. So, like, that was our time to shine when everybody was stuck inside the house.
yeah.
Because
But
I
I
was like, this is great.
but I always find it interesting that some of these people really became very, very insular to anybody else. But I mean, it's like one of the things that I would say about working in a place where you had to come into contact with people who didn't think like you,
Yeah.
and for a lot of people, for a lot of times, that's not the way that is. I mean,
Hmm.
and so that sort of exacerbated some
Right.
problems for some people, I
Oh,
think.
I agree. I mean, and like and I still have moments where I intentionally try to keep myself out of being in an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Um but sometimes the other side of the echo chamber is just ridiculous. I ended up
Oh,
getting
yeah.
into an argument with someone about the
Yeah.
whole Roe v. Wade thing
Oh, yeah.
at dinner, and they were talking about how some governor in some state had said that it was perfectly okay to abort a child up to 24 hours after it was born. And listen, so yeah, they swore up and down that this guy said this and several years ago. And so I pulled it up in the middle of the restaurant and
Right.
listened to the whole thing and was like, that is not what was said. Because I'm that person, like if you sit there and you try to upset me with some craziness, I'm
Right.
immediately gonna go looking for the answer right then.
Right.
So I mean, but yeah, it's definitely gotten harder, I think. I think people have definitely, especially with social media and stuff, Facebook, Google, everything is gonna show you what you already know.
Right.
Or whatever narrative it knows that you're looking for, it's gonna show you that every time.
Right. Well, I think it's funny in the fact that it seems to me like it's a funny old scenario where I think as we feel, at least it's true for us that me, let's put it that way, me as an aging man who's had a heart attack in the last year and things like that, that I look for the sense of I have less control than I mean, like, I hated that. I hated
Right.
being under somebody else's care in the hospital. I hated being in the rehab facility doing that. But
Right.
so see, some people will look to it and say, okay, I feel so out of control that I want to control someone else. And
Right.
it seems to me like that's kind of what it is. It's like there's so much joy in controlling other people that people are
I know.
deriving out of it.
And yeah, so much joy that, like, why does it matter to you? You know,
Right,
why does what Joe Schmo does down the street or Jane Schmo does down the street, why does that have anything to do with you?
right.
It
Because
doesn't. It has
apparently,
nothing to do with you.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That a higher power has given you a mandate for you to do things. Uh,
Li-
and and I
As
and
a Christian, I cannot tell you how frustrating that
yeah,
is to me.
I understand. I believe me. I believe me. I'm like, okay, um, I was there was actually an interesting article I was reading about something the other day, and it was like depending on it by sort of race, religion, and certain different things, and uh, what what race you were, as say, for example, if you were a Hispanic Catholic or a white Catholic, or a black Methodist or a white Methodist, or what Baptist or whatever. It gave you a listing of approximate um, understanding of Bible tests that
Right.
they gave people. And I found out that of all the groups, the ones that had the best understanding of what was actually in the Bible were atheists and agnostics.
Yeah. Well, that's because they spend so much time
Fighting with your
arguing with,
family about it.
because yeah, that's my, well, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, as someone who's a more spiritual Christian than, practicing, I guess.
Yeah,
Um yeah, I spend a lot of my time, like, I study a lot of religions anyway because I find them fascinating, and I always have. And when I was younger, I searched. I think a lot of atheists have felt that way. They went searching for that. And I mean, some atheists are just like, well, I just don't believe it. I haven't done any research. I don't give a crap. But other ones, they've done that searching, and they genuinely find it fun to argue those points,
right,
you know? And it's a if you have a good person to argue those points with, it's mentally stimulating and it's great.
right, right,
But that's why they know so much, is because they're having to argue the other side of the point. And most of them are going to go at it because, sadly, I hate to say this, because they're atheist, they're going to go at it at more of a logical fashion than an emotional fashion, which is
right.
generally what the Christian's going to come back at. And as someone who's more logical than emotional generally anyway, there is a great feeling